leader who believes he is above the law. No one is asking us to charge across a bloody beach. All that's asked of us is that we remember the greatest generation's legacy and prove we're worthy of their sacrifice.
When American troops perish in the line of duty, the remains are treated with the greatest honor and quiet dignity. They are placed aboard special Air Force transport planes.
Used dear. They had different politics, but they knew right from wrong. They knew what it meant to be an American. Now it's our turn to fight for America, to stand up to a darkness that threatens the basic rights of Americans.
Ever wonder why Trump goes ballistic over some random ads? The Lincoln Project just dropped 2 new parody gems that sent him into a full-blown meltdown. It's not just funny, it's strategic psychological warfare. These ex-Republicans know exactly which buttons to push to make Trump lose it. They've turned his ego into their best marketing tool, and the results are both hilarious and scary effective. When you see what they put in Donnie diapers, you'll understand why he can't help but take the bait. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Want to know why some ads make Trump lose his mind while others don't even register? It's not random at all. When Trump sees a Lincoln Project ad, it's like watching someone step on a landmine they've planted themselves. The Lincoln Project isn't just making funny videos to mock Trump. These ex-Republicans are running a calculated psychological operation. They've basically turned Trump's brain into a science experiment, and they know exactly which buttons to push. It's pretty genius when you think about it. Trump seems totally immune to normal criticism. Call him corrupt? He yawns. Question his policies? He doesn't care.
80 years ago, the guns fell silent across Europe. The bloodiest war in European history ended with the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany.
Ask yourself, are you better off than you were 100 days ago? Trump came back, not to lead, but to punish. He purged loyal Americans from government.
This was good versus evil, and good won. They came from small towns and big cities, the men and women of America, ready to die in places they had never heard of, for a people they didn't know.
But show an unflattering picture of his orange skin or suggest he's not manly enough? Total meltdown. These former Republican strategists figured out the secret formula to getting under his skin. The ads hit Trump right in his most tender spots: his appearance, his masculinity, and his deep fear of being called a loser. They know Trump spends hours obsessing over how he looks. Remember how mad he got when people said his skin is orange? Or when they suggested his hands were small? The Lincoln Project remembered all that and turned it into their battle plan. These aren't your regular boring political ads with American flags and serious voices talking about policy. They're engineered triggers designed by people who understand Republican psychology better than anyone. They spent years crafting messages for Republican voters, so they know exactly how messaging works on Republican brains, especially Trump's. The Lincoln Project raised a whopping $90 million not just to make funny videos, but to exploit Trump's super predictable behavior patterns. They basically created a Trump tantrum machine. They know if they push certain buttons, he'll react the same way every single time. It's like they installed a vending machine in his brain, put in a mean joke about his appearance, get an angry all-caps rant in return. Their strategy is like political jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, you use your opponent's strength against them. That's exactly what they're doing to Trump. His biggest strength is his massive platform and ability to grab attention. So they make him use that platform to spread their message by throwing a fit about it. Trump ends up doing their marketing for them. The more ridiculous and childish the ads seem, the more seriously Trump takes them. When normal people see Grumpy Trumpy or Donnie diapers, they laugh at how silly it is. But Trump? He treats these cartoon insults like they're front-page New York Times exposés. The more babyish the ad, the more grown-up he thinks it is. And that's exactly what the Lincoln Project wants. What makes this whole thing work so well is that Trump genuinely believes these ads are serious political attacks that deserve serious responses. His staff probably tries to hide these ads from him because they know exactly what will happen when he sees them. But Trump always finds them anyway. The Lincoln Project creates ads specifically designed to trigger Trump by targeting his deepest insecurities. They found the soft spots in his armor and keep poking them with a stick. They know Trump simply cannot handle being mocked. Most politicians develop thick skin. Trump's is tissue paper thin. And when he reacts, he proves their whole point about him being unstable. Trump's advisors literally beg him not to respond to these videos. You can almost picture them pleading, "Sir, please don't give them what they want." But Trump can't help himself. His ego is too fragile. He absolutely must respond to anyone who insults him, no matter how small or silly the insult, even if responding makes him look worse. Just wait until you see what happens when Grumpy Trumpy hits his timeline. His advisors probably hide in the bathroom when Trump starts yelling about the latest Lincoln Project ad. They know what's coming. The all-caps posts, the ranting, the name-calling, and every time he does it, he proves the Lincoln Project right. It's almost sad if you think about it. Trump could just ignore these videos and they'd get much less attention. But his ego won't let him. He physically cannot let an insult go unanswered. The Lincoln Project basically created a trap that Trump walks into over and over again, and the trap is his own ego. They found a way to turn Trump's massive pride into his biggest weakness. And that's the real genius here. They're not just making fun videos. They're orchestrating a psychological operation that uses Trump's personality against him. It's like they found the self-destruct button in Trump's brain and they keep pressing it. And every time he melts down, he sends millions of new viewers to watch the very ads that triggered him in the first place. Ever wonder what exactly goes into these ads that makes Trump so mad he can't help himself? It's like his brain short-circuits when he sees them. These aren't random YouTube videos made by bored college kids. The Lincoln Project crafts these things like psychological weapons. Let's break down the two newest Lincoln Project masterpieces that sent Trump into orbit. When I watched these, I could practically hear the steam coming out of Trump's ears from miles away. The Lincoln Project has basically turned trolling into an art form, and Trump's ego is their favorite canvas. These aren't just random insults thrown together. They're precision-targeted attacks on Trump's most sensitive spots. It's like the Lincoln Project has a map of Trump's insecurities, and they're dropping bombs on every single one. They know exactly what makes him tick and what makes him explode. The Grumpy Trumpy ad is pure genius in its simplicity. It shows Trump as what they call an angry orange Oompa Loompa, with a cartoon Trump stomping around and throwing fits. They mock his appearance and age with unflattering images that highlight his orange skin tone. They use childish language that makes him sound like a toddler having a meltdown in the cereal aisle. The whole thing is designed to make him look ridiculous and immature. What makes this ad so effective is how it attacks Trump's manhood. Nothing bothers Trump more than feeling emasculated. He's spent his whole life trying to project this tough guy image. Then along comes this ad showing him with an exaggerated pout and tiny hands flailing everywhere. Ouch. That's hitting below the belt, literally. The tiny hands joke has bothered Trump for decades. Remember when he had to defend his hand size during a presidential debate? That's how sensitive he is about this stuff. Then there's Donnie Diapers, possibly the most juvenile political ad ever made, which is exactly why it works so well. This masterpiece shows Trump sitting on a golden toilet having what they describe as a full-blown temper tantrum. They added baby sounds and diaper references that attack his self-image as a strong man. For a guy who's constantly trying to look tough, being portrayed as a literal baby is his worst nightmare. These ads use Trump's own mythology against him. They took his famous book, The Art of the Deal, and turned it into The Art of the Squeal, suggesting he whines and betrays his supporters.
Every president has accepted the responsibility to greet our fallen heroes. It doesn't matter the party. Where is their president today? Golfing. Again.
Not up to Elon Musk. That's your data, your social security account, your tax return, your student loans, your VA health records.
But Elon has cracked the code. He is now inside the agency.
And return to their home soil and into the grieving arms of their loved ones. 4 U.S. service members defending our interests and alliances in Europe perished last week.
They repeatedly call him a loser, the one word Trump can't stand. They know his entire identity is built around being a winner, so calling him a loser is the ultimate insult. The Tremendous Loser ad works like a fake game show that just keeps calling Trump a loser over and over. It highlights all his failures and second-place finishes. For most people, this would seem silly and childish. But for Trump, being called a loser is worse than any other insult you could throw at him. What's smart is how intentionally simple and childish these ads are. They use bright colors, cartoon characters, and playground insults. This makes Trump's serious, angry responses look even more ridiculous by comparison. When he fires back with all-caps rants about his accomplishments, it looks like an adult responding to a kindergartner's taunt with a formal legal defense. It makes him look silly and thin-skinned. The ads are designed to be entertaining and shareable, unlike typical boring political content. They don't drone on about policy or use big words. They're short, funny, and memorable, perfect for social media. The Lincoln Project knows most people hate watching political ads, so they made theirs feel more like comedy sketches. People share them because they're funny, not because they're political. These parody ads target Trump's psychological weaknesses around his appearance, masculinity, and fear of being labeled a loser. The Lincoln Project has basically created a perfect storm of things Trump can't ignore. They're pushing all his buttons at once, and they know exactly what reaction they'll get. It's like they have a remote control for Trump's emotions, and they keep pressing the meltdown button. Now let's see why Trump can't stop himself from taking the bait every single time. Most politicians would ignore these ads or laugh them off. But Trump isn't most politicians. His ego is too fragile, his skin too thin. When these ads pop up on his timeline, they set off a chain reaction in his brain that ends with him giving the Lincoln Project exactly what they want: free publicity and proof that everything they say about him is true. What happens when a former president with millions of followers can't control his emotions? Trump's reaction to these Lincoln Project ads is like watching someone step on a rake, get hit in the face, then deliberately step on it again, and again, and again. Trump's predictable reaction pattern isn't just funny, it's actually the key to the Lincoln Project's entire strategy. They know exactly what he'll do every time, like how my dog knows he's getting a treat when I open a certain drawer. The difference is, my dog is smart enough to learn new tricks. His advisors reportedly beg him to ignore these provocations. You can almost picture them following him around Mar-a-Lago pleading, "Sir, please don't take the bait." They know he's falling into a trap that's been carefully set for him. But Trump, being Trump, can't help himself. He's like a fish that sees the same worm on the same hook for the 100th time and thinks, maybe this time it's just a delicious worm. When triggered, Trump posts all-caps rants on Truth Social. After the Donnie Diapers ad, he fired off 7 separate posts, each one crazier than the last. He fills these rants with random insults aimed at the Lincoln Project and desperate brags about his achievements that have nothing to do with the criticism. It's like someone insulting his hair and him responding, "My hair is perfect and I invented the hamburger." These meltdowns typically happen late at night or early morning. Sometimes at 3 a.m., Trump is still rage posting about an ad he saw 12 hours earlier. This suggests the ads actually keep him up at night, stewing and fuming while normal people sleep. Imagine being a former president and losing sleep because someone called you Grumpy Trumpy. That's some seriously thin skin. One Lincoln Project member perfectly explained Trump's weakness. Trump is physically incapable of letting an insult slide. His need to counterpunch is so strong, he'll damage himself just to respond. It's like his brain is wired to a big red "Respond Now" button that overrides all common sense. Everyone knows the smart move is to ignore trolls, but Trump's ego won't let him. By responding angrily, Trump validates everything the ads claim about him being thin-skinned and immature. The ads say he's a baby who throws tantrums, then he throws a tantrum about being called a baby. The ads say he can't handle criticism, then he melts down over the criticism. He's essentially walking around with a sign saying, "The Lincoln Project is 100% right about me." His followers then seek out the ads to see what made him so mad. Think about it. If Trump posts 7 angry rants about a video, his supporters want to know what upset him so much. This gives the Lincoln Project free distribution to millions of people who would never have seen their content otherwise. It's marketing genius. They're reaching Trump's own audience without paying a penny for it. Trump can't stop himself from responding because his ego demands he counter every perceived attack, no matter the cost. He's like a guy getting beaten up who keeps saying, "Is that all you got?" while bleeding all over the sidewalk. His need to appear strong makes him look weak. His need to seem in control makes him look completely out of control. The end result is that Trump essentially becomes the Lincoln Project's unpaid marketing team. These ads might get a few 100,000 views on their own, but when Trump throws a fit about them, they get millions of views. He's basically a billboard advertising the very content that attacks him. Can you imagine Coca-Cola promoting Pepsi commercials? That's basically what Trump does. The craziest part is how predictable this whole cycle is. The Lincoln Project creates an intentionally childish ad about Trump being a thin-skinned baby. Trump immediately proves he's a thin-skinned baby by having a meltdown about it. His followers then watch the ad. The ad spreads further. The Lincoln Project makes more money from donors who think this approach works. Then they make more ads. And Trump falls for it again. It's the same script every single time. It's almost sad how easy it is to manipulate him this way. Almost. What other politician would help spread content calling them Losers and babies? None. But Trump's ego is so fragile that he simply cannot let even the silliest insult go unanswered. If someone called Biden an old fart, Biden would laugh or ignore it. If someone called Trump an old fart, he'd write a 3,000-word essay about why he's actually the youngest, least gassy president ever. Trump can't stop taking the bait because his personality won't allow it. He's trapped in a cycle created by his own ego. And as long as he keeps responding, the Lincoln Project will keep making these ads. They've found the perfect formula to drive him crazy, and they're using it to turn him into their best marketing asset. Talk about playing yourself. The Lincoln Project has created the perfect trap for Trump. They make ads calling him thin-skinned, then watch as he proves their point by losing his mind over them. It's like setting a mousetrap with cheese, except the mouse falls for it every single time. Trump's biggest enemy isn't Democrats or the Lincoln Project. It's the puffy orange face he sees in the mirror each morning. His ego is so fragile that he can't ignore even the silliest attacks. As long as Trump keeps taking the bait, we'll keep seeing these hilarious meltdowns. The Lincoln Project just winds him up and watches him go.